Hey everybody, this is Ryan with the Farm to Table Direct Show, and I'm standing here with Ben and Andrea from VW Family Farms, some fellow folks from down in Arkansas, the little town of Rosebud, correct? Is that where it's at? Right smack in the center of Arkansas. And they're out here at the Okie Homesteading Expo where we're at. They've got their trailer set up and their shirts, and they're going to be speaking just a little bit later on. One of the speakers here at the programs, and just want to take a little bit of time to talk to them and kind of introduce and get to know who they are and kind of what they're about. So guys, who are you and what you about?
I'll let the main speaker take over.
Well, we are, like you said, Ben and Andrea. We are from the middle of Arkansas, little small town. We started back in 2012. We bought our first kind of homestead animal. It was a pig, and we're actually speaking about pigs later today. We were gardening and just doing little hobby things before that, but that was kind of our first attempt at growing food. We had little kids at the time, and it just sucked us in and just stole our hearts, and we've just grown from there. We wound up to this day, we still raise pigs, we raise beef, we do meat chickens, egg laying chickens, gardens, bees, just kind of all the things. We're kind of in the process. Our kids are grown now, they're 18 and just turned 20. We're trying to hone in kind of what we do and figure out, we're in a different phase of life now on what we can do without them, because they've been our main farm hands. They've built this thing with us, but we want them to be able to go their own path.
Right.
And if they want to do this, great, but us not kind of force them into it or manipulate them into it. So
Right. Well, that's always important. I mean, we see that too many times where a kid they don't want to do it, and mom and dad want them to. But yeah, that's awesome. So I mean, you mentioned, I know y'all do a specific kind of pig, correct? What is that?
Well, I won't even attempt to say the
word?
first name of it.
Okay.
But it's something like
Gloucester.
there you go.
Gloucester.
But
okay.
I go with Old Spot or GOS.
Okay.
And you can Google it, and both of them will come up. But I was very adamant on not having pigs on my farm because I didn't want all my ground tore up.
Right. Okay.
And we actually went to a farm buying meat, and they had what they called pastured pigs. And look out there, and it looked like they just mowed the grass out there. Anyway, one thing led to another. Talking to him about them, I fell in love with them and hadn't gotten away from them since. So
there you go. Now I watched a video of y'all recently. Y'all were bringing some cows in, some different things from the sale barn, and y'all were restocking your herd a little bit. Now do y'all do just like a mix, or is there a particular one that y'all go with?
well, go ahead.
Well, we have a mix of cows. When we got into it, we bought a herd of cows, and we had to buy what we could afford.
Right.
But we're moving to the South Pole cattle.
Okay.
They do really well on grass, and we have a lot of heat and humidity in Arkansas.
Right.
And
absolutely.
we really like rotational grazing, but there's challenges with that you don't think about going into it. And one of those is shade.
Okay.
You don't have shade in every little paddock. And so these can do without as much shade as you think about a Black Angus. They get really hot. We've had them overheat out there in the sun. So these are made for that. Teddy Gentry from the band Alabama, he developed this breed for the things he needed. And a lot of those are things we need because we live in the same, climate. So we're shifting that way. Plus they grow out really well on grass without supplemental grain needed. And so you can take any cow and make it grass fed.
Right.
But you don't really want to be eating shoe leather either.
I got you.
Quality.
You kind of need quality grass-fed genetics. So that's what we're doing with the cow.
Something I noticed, and something I noticed with y'all, and when I was looking through your website, checking y'all guys out, kind of getting information, was that y'all are really particular on not going with a lot of the GMO feeds, a lot of the different things like that, to kind of try to keep a better, cleaner meat. And and I know it's important to a lot of our listeners that what's in the food matters as much as the taste of the food or anything else.
Yes.
You mentioned chickens, and I had seen the little mobile cluck wagon.
Yeah.
I think that's what.
We've got a cluck wagon for the egg layers, and we've got a big schooner full of all of our meat chickens.
Okay. Well, and which folks, if you don't know, there is a difference. You got egg layers and you got meat chickens, and how they grow and what they do is a little bit different, and their purpose is different. But okay, guys. Well, I mean, of course, you mentioned already your kids are kind of grown up doing this, and y'all are trying to figure out where's it go now, right? But anyway, well, that was great. And so y'all have a website, a Facebook, people can get a hold of y'all? Or?
We do. Yeah, we're VW Family Farm on YouTube. That's where we kind of filmed our journey. But we have our website is vwfamilyfarm.com, and that's where you can order. We ship. You can't just go in there and place an order to be shipped because it's complicated to
Right.
separate local and shipping. So you can just email us at vwff@yahoo.com if you want to have something shipped. And we're on all the social medias and all that. So
Well, I will say, check it out, because I know he's in the middle of a barn remodel or something like that going on, and I'm anxious to see how that turns out. But it looked like it was fun. Looked like y'all had gotten some stuff added in, and I think kind of some of the some family land that was in that. I think, right, and that's always really cool. Some people I know that same thing. It's multi-generation.
yes,
That's partially where our name came from.
Right.
A lot of people always ask, where'd you come up with VW?
Right.
My last name and my grandpa's last name, who I inherited the land from. So I always wanted to, have him involved in the land even after his passing. So
Well, that's a nice way to pay homage to that and to the heritage and everything. Well, listen, guys, it's inspirational. One thing, any tip to somebody that's just want to get started in this, that has no idea, or maybe they got an idea and they're dangerous. I mean,
I'd say the number one tip is what you said yesterday. Don't start too big. Don't try to get everything going at one time. Take it slow. And I mean, we've made mistakes. Everybody's going to make them. That's the way you learn.
Right.
But not starting with everything at once.
Okay.
mine would be just do what you can. Like you mentioned, the non-GMO feed. There's times we can do that. We had that brought in from Missouri from a Mennonite farm. It's not really readily available in our area.
Right.
There's times we've had to go with our local feed mill. So just do what you can, and don't be ashamed if you can't do everything perfectly, because just doing something is success in my book.
Right.
However you pull it off,
Right. Well, folks, we're getting a little windy out here. We
Yeah,
got some Oklahoma weather moving in, which happens out here in this part of the country. You never know. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for that. The viewers, I think, will be, it's informative. They'll be, kind of maybe a little inspired a bit, and, appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck with everything going forward. I know it's, farming is, it's a gamble every season. And, but, just thank you so much for that. And something we say at the end of our show is, prepare for the unexpected and keep it local. So I'm going to say that right now. Everybody, as always, from the Farm to Table Direct Show, prepare for the unexpected and keep it local.